Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck. So when I was in Paris, I was having this wonderful dish there that's very common, and Julia Childs even makes it very famous. It's called Beef Bourguignon. Beef Bourguignon. What is it?
Bourguignon.
Beef Bourguignon. Okay, there we go. Just beef burgundy's fine too, by the way. So anyway, let's get to it. This is a delicious beef stew. It's like a French style, and you're gonna love it. It's rich and full of flavor, and it's just gonna be so fabulous. And it's gonna complement that aligot that I shared earlier really, really nicely. Or I should say the aligot will complement the beef bourguignon very nicely. So let's get to it, guys. Beef bourguignon. So I'm gonna start with about a half a cup or so of flour, and I'm just gonna season it with some black pepper and some kosher salt, and just mix that up. And now we're going to dredge our beef inside of this. So I'm going to be using 2 pounds, I have 2 of these packages, of a beef round cube type cut. The type of stuff you use for a beef stew, really. And I'm going to take each piece of beef and I'm going to dredge it in the flour mixture, just like so. And then just set it aside, and do that with all the pieces. There we go, and now let's just set that aside. Now going to the pot, I want to hit the saute button so it's on more, and I'm going to wait until that reads hot. And while that's heating up, I'm going to take 4 slices of bacon, and using shears, just cut them up into little pieces, just like so. And now that it reads hot, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, which is 1/4 of a stick, as well as our bacon, and 1 tablespoon of crushed garlic. You also want to make sure the bacon begins to get slightly crispy. So just keep stirring and keep an eye on it and let that bacon cook. And it's sizzling a little bit. We're going to make sure, like I said, get nice and slightly crispy. And when it looks like that, we're about ready. The bottom of the pan might look like it's getting a little burned, but don't worry about it. It's fine. We're going to deglaze it later. It's completely fine. It's going to add a lot of delicious flavor to it right now. So what we want to do now is add our beef to it and brown it. And then make sure that all that flour becomes basically invisible. We want to get it on all the sides of all of our beef. There we go, it's starting to get nice and browned. And when we start to look nice and good just like this, we're going to add 1 cup of beef broth, 3/4 of a cup of a nice burgundy type wine. I'm using a Pinot Noir for this, and make sure it's a dry red wine. And once you've done that, just give the little bottom of the pan a little scrape for a nice little bit of deglazing there. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, about 2 cups of pearl onions that are drained, and put that in there, 1 bay leaf, 1 teaspoon of dried tarragon, and 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. And now let's mix all of that up in there nice and good. And once we're mixed all nice and good, just like that, we are now going to add 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms. Really any kind will be fine. I'm just using the typical white ones. And just mix that up in there. And there we go, just like so. Okay, so now that everything's all mixed up and all nice and good in there, we're going to put our lid on top of the pot. Make sure it's in sealing position. And then I'm going to hit cancel, I'm going to hit manual, and we're going to go up to 15 minutes for this one, guys, and it's going to stay on high pressure, just like that, 15 minutes. And while that pot's making its magic happen, and since I had to crack open a fresh bottle of Pinot Noir to put in there as a key ingredient, I'm gonna reward myself right now for all that hard work I just did, because it was such hard work, and because I like wine. Oh, what the heck, a little bit of cheese too to go with it. I got this cheese in Paris, guys, and I brought it back. Oh. And now that that's all finished, let's do a quick release. And while that's quick releasing, let's make our cornstarch slurry by adding 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, mixed with 2 tablespoons of water. And then give that all a nice good stir. It might feel like cementish, but just keep getting it in there and it's going to become smooth. So it should be just like this, nice and smooth. To make the perfect cornstarch slurry, always add the same ratio of water to the cornstarch you add. Now that the pins drop, let's take the lid off. And oh boy. Oh my god, does that smell good? And wow, does that look delicious, guys? Oh, what? Wow. Okay, let's get in there and give that a little stir. And now let's go back and hit keep warm cancel and hit saute and make it on the more setting. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add the other 3/4 of a cup of our Pinot Noir or our dry red wine to the pot. We want to make sure we bring this a little bit to a boil. And I'm going to get that bay leaf out of there in the meantime as well. And as it begins to bubble, which will be very quickly, add that cornstarch slurry right to it and mix that up nice and good. And we're going to let this simmer for a little bit for about 2 to 3 minutes until it thickens up nicely. And now as it gets a little bit thicker now, we've had a few moments to let that additional wine burn off. We're gonna go down here, we're gonna hit cancel, and we're gonna just hit the keep warm button so it just stays on a warm setting, and let the bubbles just simmer down for a bit. And now you see the bubbling is really dying down, and the sauce is getting to that beautiful consistency. Not too thick, but not too thin, just right. So now let's transport this to a serving bowl. And there we go, guys. Right into the serving dish, piping hot and looking absolutely jolie. I'm gonna plate myself some of this. Let's try it out. Oh, look at how beautiful. I'm gonna try a mushroom first. It's a good thing I don't have any Super Mario genes because I would grow like 30 feet tall right now. And now for some of the fantastic beef. Oh yeah, I can't wait. Oh my god, the meat is so tender and so delicious. And now for one of these little onions on top of it. Aren't they so cute, these little pearl onions? They just burst into your mouth like a firework, except without you having to go to the hospital afterwards. This beef bourguignon. What is it again, Richard?
Bourguignon!
Oh yes, this beef bourguignon. Ugh, just so fabulous. It's like France in my mouth. And you guys are gonna love it. It's like the richest beef stew you can have. For more recipes like these, if you enjoy these videos, go to facebook.com/pressureluckcooking. And that's Pressure Luck on YouTube and all the social channels, just search for them. Thank you again so much for the support. And I'm so happy that I got to bring some of my wonderful Parisian trip back to you guys. And stay tuned for more.